So in today's Dokkan Battle Analysis video, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the World Tournament reward for the newest World Tournament currently on JP, and that is the STR Super Saiyan Gohan. And I really am a big fan of this card just because of the period that this card is based on. Of course, this is the start of the Buu Saga, one of the very few episodes, if not the first one. So very exciting to finally see a card based around that specific time in the Buu arc. And he is an interesting unit. I definitely think that he could potentially be optimal, and of course I will go over why he could potentially be optimal in this video. But as always, I hope you guys are having a great day, and if you do enjoy today's video, consider leaving a like and subscribing if you are new. And this one is going to come out around the normal time. I always try to aim to upload between 12 and 6 my time, but unfortunately the second video is going to come out a bit later, and potentially a third one that could be a card up video. But yeah, I hope you guys do enjoy today's videos regardless, and let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. And I will just say this straight away, I feel like in comparison to the previous World Tournament reward, which was an STR Super Saiyan Vegeta if I'm not mistaken, he is definitely a step up, and I don't know what they were thinking about Vegeta, to be honest. Have never been a fan of passives that require you to be below a certain percentage, but it is what it is, and hopefully once they rebirth, they are going to be even better. And the thing is about the World Tournament units is that they will never get the Fierce Battle link just because they do awaken with the medals from the World Tournament, which is a shame. But I've rambled on long enough. Let's go ahead and get started with his leader skill. He gives 2 key to super types as well as a 50% HP and defensive boost. So he doesn't give that attack boost, which is definitely one of the most important things about the leader skill boost. He causes supreme damage and has a rare chance to stun. Now, I've gone over this multiple times. That rare chance to stun is anywhere between 10 to 20%, I believe. 25% chance is medium. Again, it varies with every single unit, and it may be lower, maybe a bit higher, but it definitely isn't below 10%. I would honestly say that's around 15. His passive skill gives 2 key to super types as well as a 25% attack and defensive boost. And then of course we have his links. He has Super Saiyan, Golden Warrior, the Saiyan Lineage, Saiyan Warrior Ray, Z Fighters, and Hero of Justice. So his main attack link here is Super Saiyan. It's a shame that he does not have the Kamehameha link, because that would help out units like Super Saiyan for Goku massively. The Kamehameha link makes a massive difference when it comes to damage. Of course, it doesn't give as much of a boost as some of the other attack links, but when it comes to a unit like Goku, it definitely does raise his attack by a decent amount, to the point where you want to have that link active every single time. And of course that is one of the reasons why he has one of the best partnerships in the game with Super Saiyan 3 GT. But the point is, this Gohan is pretty damn good. He doesn't necessarily have the greatest attack links, but he does make up for that with his passive skill, of course. He gives 2 keys to super types, so he's going to be very beneficial on that STR team. And he also gives a 25% attack and defensive boost, so he is very similar to the Agility Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, who is actually optimal on an agility team. So he can be compared to that Gohan, and I would honestly go as far as saying that he is optimal. And one of the reasons why I say that is just because the STR team, the majority of the time, just relies on Goku anyway. If you think about it, your rotations are most likely going to consist of, keep in mind that this is the optimal setup that I'm talking about, your rotations are most likely going to consist of Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 3 GT, and then your other rotation is going to be another Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Gogeta most likely. And if you do not have Gogeta for whatever reason, you're most likely going to put someone else there like Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, maybe this Gohan for the boost that you want. But the majority of the time, this Gohan is going to be a floater, and in the future he could potentially be replaced by the STR support unit, which should be coming out like whenever Bandai decides to release them. They've been really inconsistent with like the release times, because the gap between the physical support units and like the tech ones were massive. I think it was around a month or so, maybe even more. And then you take a look at the gap between the tech one and it was like 2 weeks. So haven't heard any new information on the new in-type, not new in-types, but new support units, but I would imagine that we are going to get something relatively soon, just because the half year is coming up. So very excited to see what is coming up. But yeah, he has a very interesting leader skill. I mean, the majority of the time you're not going to be using him as lead. Maybe if you gave an attack boost, because that 50% boost as well as the key is nice, and it would have been comparable to Vegito Blue, but of course it doesn't give as much key, and of course in this specific situation it doesn't give an attack boost. I don't imagine that he is going to hit too hard, and I don't think he has a farmable super attack now that you've changed the names of specific cards. Of course, before he had Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, who was teen, but now I believe it's actually youth, and because of that reason, you're most likely not going to be able to raise the super attack of this Gohan in particular. with ease, and it's not to say that you can't pull enough Gohans to raise your super attack, because keep in mind, you do still have the STR and physical super rare Gohans, which you could feed into this guy, but when we move on to how hard he can hit, his 12Q multiplier, pardon me, is 130%, which is literally the bare minimum. Anything below that is just pretty bad. Even a 12Q multiplier of 130% is pretty bad, just because it does hold back Gohan significantly in terms of damage, so that is definitely one of the downsides about this card when it comes to attacking anyway. But then again, keep in mind that his main use isn't going to be attacking, of course, so it's not exactly a big problem, but if you do have all those STR Gohans or physical Gohans and you want to raise the super attack of this guy just for the sake of having him at super attack 10, you can definitely go ahead and do so, but it's like, I don't see him hitting that hard. But then again, pardon me, if you take into account the leader skill, he is most likely going to get a big enough boost for that grind to be worth it, if you know what I mean. I can definitely see him hit for around 250k, potentially even more. Maybe I'm undervaluing how hard he's going to hit, because keep in mind, the only boost that he is getting is of course from his attack stats, the 12Q multiplier, and of course his own passive. So you do kind of have to rely on those things to hit harder this Gohan, but the one thing that he does have going for him is the fact that his free ability is critical hit. So if you want to go ahead and give this guy a few ability system buffs just to go ahead and get that free ability, I would definitely go ahead and do so. It would increase his damage output significantly, and of course if you get even more dupes, you can go ahead and open the top left path and bottom right path. I would recommend the bottom right path, especially if you get just one dupe, and the reason why is because you get way more ability system buffs, you get way more abilities. Granted, you do need to get Gohan's super attack to 10, but that isn't too much of a task, and I do feel like it's worth it, because you can get his crit level to 14, which is absolutely insane. And for a card that isn't even made to hit hard, it definitely is going to help him out massively. But like I said before, it isn't something that you do have to do unless you don't exactly have a very good team. Because keep in mind, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, like I said before, is going to be doing the majority of the work. So you don't exactly have to prioritize raising the super attack of this Gohan in particular. When it comes to his rebirth, which will most likely come in around 2 or 3 world tournaments, potentially 3, because we still have to see the rebirth for the Tech Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. I definitely feel like when that awakening does happen, that he is going to give free key to super types, as well as either a 30% attack and defensive boost, or it's going to be a 40% attack and defensive boost. Most likely 30%, just because they don't want to overshadow the you know, STR type that is eventually going to come out, who is going to have that 40%. Up to attack and defense. When it comes to the key, it's weird. When Bandai gives these units the rebirths, they don't tend to improve them that much, especially the World Tournament ones. On very few occasions, they improve rebirths by a crazy amount, but then you take a look at units like Xeno Trunks, who literally went from being the worst card in the game to one of the best units in the game for a period anyway, and of course he was still one of the best World Tournament AoEs. I don't know how good he is now, but the point is, when this Gohan does Dokkan eventually, he is definitely going to be an optimal unit. At the moment, I'll definitely go as far as saying he is an optimal unit. Pardon me, and like I said before, one of the reasons why is because you do want to consistently give that Goku the attack and defensive boost, and Goku's just like, the reality about the STR teams is that Goku is going to do the majority of the work. Yes, he may have other units at Super Attack 10, yes, he may have Gogeta, you know, Super Saiyan Vegeta, God Goku, you name it, but the large majority of the time your team is going to, you know, just rely on Super Saiyan 4 Goku to deal the majority of the damage, just because of how freaking hard he can hit, and of course because his free ability is critical hits, and he has one of the best partnerships in the game with Super Saiyan 3 GT. And to be honest, basically what units like Gohan are doing is they are just giving Goku an even bigger boost. But keep in mind that I am always going to be going off like an optimal scenario. And one of the reasons why, it's just simple to talk about an optimal scenario, because I don't know what the majority of you guys have in your box. But then again, it does come down to what you have in your box. Let's say you don't go ahead and pull that STR support lead. He may be an optimal unit to you guys, but when you take a look at specific units from an optimal standpoint, some units are definitely better than others. I will say that if you want an STR team, or STR teams are one of your favourite teams to run, definitely go for this Gohan, even if you have an optimal team, just because in the future he can definitely be an even better unit when he eventually gets his rebirth. Even now, I would definitely say that he is an optimal unit. But yeah, hope you guys did enjoy today's video as always, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. If you want to interact with me consistently, just go ahead and follow me on Twitter. That is where I'm at the majority of the time, and I love interacting with you guys. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And as always, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you all in the next one.